How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Bears fans rejoice as Adam Shaheen's tenure in Chicago comes to an end. The Bears are trading Adam Shaheen to the Miami Dolphins for a conditional 2021 sixth-round draft pick per Pro Football Talk. Today, in episode number 59 of Uncut, we're going to be breaking down Shaheen's career in Chicago, possibly labeling him a bust, and talking about what the Bears can do with the rest of the money that they gained from moving on from Shaheen. Welcome back to the show, guys. If you are new to the channel, do us a favor and subscribe. We are getting very, very close to 1,800 subscribers and trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I am your host, Chris Malpe, and today I am joined with my co-host, Jaylen McClinton, and video producer and editor here at Beared Down, Zach Rimbos. Guys, how does it feel? Shaheen is gone.
Amazing. I can't believe we actually got some for him, but we'll talk about that later in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that we even got a return on this, so, feeling pretty good.
Yeah, no kidding. The fourth-year tight end drafted in the 2017 NFL Draft, more specifically the second round, is finally gone from Chicago after about 2 years of people calling for his release or for the Bears to move on from him. Obviously, coming into Chicago, Shaheen was thought to be a very good prospect. He was dubbed Baby Gronk. He's 6'6", 260 pounds, but was not that productive in Chicago. Only played in 27 games throughout 3 years. 26 receptions, 249 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Not the production you want to see out of a tight end at all. And I said it earlier, but Bears fans for a while have been calling for Shaheen to be moved on from. So, obviously, Jaylen mentioned it earlier, and I'm going to go back to Jaylen now. The Bears do receive $1.2 million for moving on to Shaheen and sending him to Miami. Also, they save $1.2 million by moving on from him. Jaylen, was this the right move by the Bears?
Definitely. I felt like he wasn't going to make the team regardless. I felt like I don't even think he's going to make it to training camp, but if he did, he was going to get cut right before the season started. To actually get something for him, even though it's a sixth-round pick, I'd rather have something than nothing, especially for a person or a draft pick that was a completely failed, like Adam Shaheen, who barely produced the last couple of years in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I look at this move, it was absolutely a no-brainer for me. If you can get any return for a player that was, I hate to say it, but that was so putrid and so bad in Chicago, I think you can't complain about that at all, as my dogs start barking, because I'm sure they're pretty happy about the trade as well. But that being said, got some pretty good return for Shaheen. It is a conditional sixth-round pick, but if it ends up being a sixth or even a seventh-round pick, we know what Ryan Pace has done in the past in drafting in the late rounds, so you can't really be mad about that whatsoever. I'm going to say this was a huge success, and the Bears also saved some money by making this deal. Zach, what do you think? Was this the right move? I'm pretty sure it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely no-brainer. Not a very productive career for Shaheen here since 2017 with the Bears. Obviously, he's not the best talent on the roster anymore. I think it's something that, as Jaylen was saying, come training camp, come the season, he was probably going to be cut anyway. So the fact that we got a return on him is very good. And, it's definitely something that was expected of him.
Shaheen, someone who is riddled with injuries throughout his time in Chicago. His best year definitely came in his rookie season in 2017, and it was pretty solid. I mean, 12 receptions, 127 yards, and 3 touchdowns in that year with John Fox. And then it was trending downhill ever since for Shaheen. He only started 2 games in 2019, only appeared in 8, and only appeared in 6 games in 2018. So, I want to ask you guys now, is Shaheen the biggest bust in Bears history? Or, excuse me, not in Bears history. Is Shaheen the biggest recent Bears bust? Jaylen, I'm going to start with you.
I want to say no, because I want to give it to Kevin White, especially in the space era. I would say Kevin White's probably the biggest buzz, but Kevin really didn't have the opportunity to play all out due to all the injuries. But I'm gonna still give it to him regardless. That was his first draft pick. He was a wide receiver who coming out. People thought was one of the best in that class, other than Amari Cooper at that time. So I'm gonna still give it to Amari Cooper. But Adam Shaheen is definitely second on that list, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think Adam Shaheen follows just behind Kevin White as far as Bears' recent busts go. It's tough seeing someone that you put such a lot of draft stock in. You draft them higher than tight ends like O.J. Howard and George Kittle. George Kittle, someone who I was such a fan of because I'm a University of Iowa fan when he was coming out of college. It's tough to see Shaheen just struggle throughout his time in Chicago. That being said, I'm glad he's gone. I can't complain whatsoever. So, yeah. Zach, what do you think? Is Shaheen the biggest Bears bust in recent time?
Yeah, he's up there, but I would have to say Kevin White, just drafting, seeing him come in the draft, and we drafted him so high, and he was injury-riddled as well, and that's very sad to see, but definitely in the first round because Shaheen was the second round. But, yeah, definitely Shaheen's up there, especially for the tight ends that he was drafted ahead of, as you mentioned. He's up there. I'd say definitely upper side of top 5.
Now,
in recent.
Oh, yeah. Now, so if you look at the free agent players that are left, the Bears have gained approximately $2.7 million from cutting Ben Braunecker and Shaheen. Taking a look at some of the best free agents remaining as the NFL prepares for the 2020 season, guys like Everson Griffin, Cordy Glenn, Logan Ryan, Delaney Walker, if they're looking for another tight end. We don't need to talk about Tony Jefferson because they already signed to Sean Gibson. Devonta Freeman, Jadeveon Clowney, that doesn't seem realistic. There are some solid options left out there, and we didn't even mention guys like Kevin Belcham, Jason Peters, and also Larry Warford, someone who the Bears were rumored to be looking at a couple of weeks ago. Back during quarantine, is someone who is still out there who is an interesting prospect. So, Zach, I want to start with you. The Bears have $3 million about in cap space. You've seen Ryan Pace do a ton of small deals this offseason, bringing in guys like Ted Ginn, Deshaun Gibson, and other guys like Artie Burns, a lot of veterans minimum deals, even when you look at guys like Barkevius Mingo. So I want to ask you, should the Bears look to make a move with this money that they've gained from getting rid of these tight ends?
It's tough to say. I think that we've added a lot of depth this offseason. We're definitely filling the tight end position. I think the line still needs improvement. We've got a lot of depth in the wide receiver position this year. I'm not too sure where they would choose to expand on if they, considering the money that we have, especially the type of player that we can get for that money. So if it's possible, I would say yes, go for it. But I think that they hold on to this money and try to make a few other moves. And if somebody is available, then go for that. But if not, I think they hold on to the money here.
Yeah. I think the Bears should absolutely look at bringing in Warford. Warford is a highly touted prospect, spent some time with the Detroit Lions, also spent some time with the New Orleans Saints where he made the last 3 consecutive Pro Bowls. He's an option that could come in for the Bears. There's a hole at guard, I guess you could say right now. A lot of people are very hopeful about what Jermaine Fetty's going to be able to do. But you can't turn down a guy who made the all-rookie team. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He was a Pro Football Focus Offensive Rookie of the Year and also excelled a lot at college when he was at Kentucky for the SEC. He's played and started in every game that he stepped foot on in the NFL since, I believe, 2013. A highly efficient player. There are definitely some question marks around him, but that being said, I think Larry Warford is someone that the Bears have to shift their eyes back on heading into training camp. So, Jaylen, what do you think? The Bears have around $3 million left in cap space. Do you think they make a move after cutting 2 tight ends?
I would agree with both of you guys. Probably looking forward to improve the offensive line with Larry Warford as well. He's been on the free agent market for so much now, and it came out very early in his free agency that we were interested because he was asking for too much. That was a long time ago, so I'm pretty sure his price range has lowered. So if we're able to offer him enough money for him to come sign with us, I would definitely do that. But if we're not, I would just save the money and possibly use that for extensions and like Allen Robinson or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bears still do have a lot of work to do in extending some players, but it should be interesting to see how the rest of the season and training camp folds out because the Bears currently sit at 88 players on the roster. They have until, I believe, August 13th or 14th to slim that number down to 80. Thank you guys so much for tuning into episode number 59 of Uncut. Today we reacted pretty positively to the Bears moving on from Adam Shaheen, talked about some possible options of some guys we can bring in, and also kind of labeled Shaheen one of the bigger busts in recent Bears history. If you want more content from us, do us a favor and head over to our website, beareddown.com. We're going to have some articles up examining Shaheen's time in Chicago in the next couple of days. If you are on social media and want to follow the podcast, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down, and you can also find the links to the Instagram fan pages of myself, Jaylen, and Zach down in the description. Guys, if you had to say one thing to Adam Shaheen before he left town, what would it be?
Good riddance.
I want our second round pick back. That's it.
Yeah, I would probably say grab some Geno's East and some Portillo's on your way out, because you're never going to be tasting that stuff again, and it's some pretty good food. So thank you guys for tuning in once again to episode number 59 of Uncut. It's been a pleasure to be your host once again. My name is Chris Malpe. I've been joined by Jaylen McClinton and Zach Rimbos today. Bears fans, do us a favor, continue to stay safe, and as always, bear down and do a little bit of extra celebrating today, because we deserve it. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.